lot of nuts!
The first video of 2021. What better way to start it than by doing a style of video that I haven't done in over a year and will definitely not do very well. Welcome to it. This is the 2020 retrospective video. A look back on everything that I've done in 2020. A little bit of a chit chat between me and you without playing a wonky personality. And just something to sort of provide a little more information, answer some questions that you guys have sent me. And just sort of take a look back on how much I've grown on my first year as a YouTuber. I did a similar video to this, or a video in the same vein as this at the beginning of 2020. And the reason that I did that was because I had just about quit my job in order to pursue YouTube full time. I just recovered from having COVID, and just a few weeks later, I would have appendicitis and need emergency surgery. So like the beginning of 2020 was extremely difficult. And coming back into making videos in that situation where I was like, this is my job now, I really need to hit the ground running, I found a lot of solidarity and comfort in sort of setting some guidelines, talking about what I had on my mind, the visions that I had for the channel going forward, and hearing the feedback from you guys watching this video, supporting me in one way or another. It just sort of felt like, you know, it pulled us all together, really gave me the sort of motivation to do more and to get better. Hopefully this will be a video. I keep saying 2020 instead of 2021 because the years are all melting together, but it's this previous year. Okay, so the last 12 months from when you're watching this, the year 2021. In that time, the channel has done, according to my numbers, 4.8 million views. We have gained 70,000 subscribers, 70,000 PogChamps have I still don't have a name for you guys, have joined the channel, which is a tremendous amount of growth. I didn't really have goals for how many people would join the channel, how many views I would get, how much money I would make. All I knew was that going into this, with it being my job, I wanted to make enough money so that I wouldn't need to go back to working in engineering or sales or anything. I wanted to just do this. And I wanted to make certain videos, and I wanted to make a certain number of videos. And I wanted to make my full-time income by making the videos I wanted to make. So even if I was making like $1 million a year, but the only videos I could do those numbers with was like Watch Mojo top 10 content or behind the meme, hey guys, here's the top 10 memes of the week, and like my face, my personality, the goofy characters I do, all the, you know, little raps and poems and memes that I make and write. If I didn't get to showcase any of that, I wouldn't have considered this a success. So a tremendous shout out to anybody who has joined us along the way. When people like message me on Twitter, or the small handful of times people meet me in real life, they'll apologize. They'll be like, I'm sorry I found you through Internet Historian, but then I started watching your content and now I really like you for your content. And it's like, you know, I don't care how you join the board. I don't, you know, if somebody shouted me out, if I did a collab with somebody, if you only found me through one video I did or one person that I worked with, like, it's fine. Like, I don't have like a high level of authenticity or ego that I have to do this a certain way. I just want to be able to do what makes me laugh. I hope it makes people laugh, and according to the numbers, it's done a pretty solid job at that, and I could not be more happy with that result. So with like 70,000 new subscribers, it's been a while since I've sort of broken down not like my content strategy, but just sort of all the platforms that I'm on. So just to sort of preface the rest of the video, I just want to give a quick shout out to all the things that I do, so that if the only thing you do is watch me on YouTube, and you don't know that I'm, you know, juggling quite a few things at a time, here's all the social media platforms that I'm on. So obviously you're watching me on YouTube. This is where I started. This is the biggest thing that I do. I mainly just have this one channel. This is where I post my meme. I do my best to make this where I post everything. So even if I want to go and review fast food, even if I want to do like a tier list or something, I don't want to break it into 2 or 3 different channels and be like, hey, here's where the good stuff is, and here's the stuff that I just sort of vomit out when I'm feeling creative. Like, I want everything to just sort of be tied to my personality, and that way, if I decide to do something that isn't just looking at memes for 15 minutes, hopefully you will still find it entertaining, and that will allow me to continue to upload it to this channel. I do have a second channel, which is Sumeto Streams, which is where I archive all of the live streams that I have from Twitch. So it's currently got several hundred hours of video. So if you like watching my videos, if you're rewatching videos just because you like hearing my voice in the background, feel free to check out the second channel. It's got so many games that I've played through. I'm chatting through all of it. You'll it's funny. There's jokes. There's a lot of video games, a lot of me just talking about thoughts and feelings and what have you. So if you just kind of keep me in the background, or if you want to see me play through games, there's the second YouTube channel. I do have a Twitch channel, which I just mentioned. I haven't live streamed there a lot, and I'll sort of talk on why I've backed away from it a little bit. It hasn't been on purpose. I'm just sort of bad with scheduling. But if you want to see me live, you can watch me on twitch.tv/SumitoMedia. All of these are always linked in the description, by the way. I play video games. I build gun PLA kits. I do fast food reviews. I do a lot of stuff over there that is just sort of streamy stuff, a little bit less produced, but is live content. So if you want to be able to chat with me, if you want to be able to ask me questions, that is what that's there for. I do my best to stream a couple times a month. That number should be much higher, but again, I am bad at my job. I have a Twitter, also at SumitoMedia. Basically everything is at SumitoMedia. That is something I use daily. Short memes, short excerpts from videos. Occasionally I'll have previews from videos and stuff like that, but it's mostly just me retweeting funny memes, jokes, other content creators, a lot of anime porn. So if you're under the age of 18, don't follow my Twitter. If you don't want to sign up for that, feel free. But if you have a Twitter, if you like Twitter, I use it pretty religiously. I'm there a lot, and I make a lot of content on Twitter. I have a Discord, which is always linked in the description, which is just sort of a community site. You can chat with me and a lot of other people that are in the Discord. It's a little bit less personal, just because there's like 1,000 people in there now. But if you want to have updates to videos, if you want to provide some feedback, video suggestions, submitting your memes to make it in a future video. Usually if I'm working on a video and I want some feedback, or if I need more examples of people pondering the orb or whatever it is that I'm working on, I'll make channels. So if you guys have examples of that stuff, I can look through them, and sometimes they'll come into the video. But also, if you just want to be able to keep up to date with what I'm doing, I post announcements and stuff like that on Discord more than on Twitter. And then finally, the Schpodcast is something that I post on the main channel. It is an audio form podcast, regardless of how I've done it. So it is available on Spotify. It's available on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. It's available on Google Podcasts. It's posted pretty much everywhere, in addition to being posted on YouTube. So if you're in for the audio stuff, that is there. And that's pretty much everywhere I am. I do have a TikTok. I don't post to it a ton. I do have an Instagram, but that's mostly just photos and stuff. I don't think it's... if you like me being funny on YouTube, I don't think you'll necessarily want to follow me on Instagram, but those also exist. In addition to the content that I make, I do also want to link all the sites that I have in which you can support me directly. Just so that, if you guys watch the videos, if you're in a position to be able to help me out, continue to make this my job, allow the channel to grow and what have you, here's a list of the ways in which you can do so. First and foremost, just watch the videos. That really is the number one way to support me. You don't need to spend any money. Whether you want to or not. Watching videos, sharing the videos with your friends, or just watching the videos in general. The more views they get, the more people will end up seeing them on YouTube's algorithm. The more sponsors will see them and want to, provide money so that I can do goofier sponsored segments. YouTube is still, by and large, the number one place that I make money is just people watching videos and YouTube paying me for the ad rate. So even if the only thing you're doing is watching videos, don't feel bad that you're not donating money. That's always a weird, guilty thing that you should never feel, at least as far as I'm concerned. You are always helping to the best of your ability just by enjoying my content, and I thank you for it. I do have other ways in which you can donate money if you want to. I want to break these down in sort of the cut that I get, so I'm going to provide these in a way that if you spent $30, how much of it would make to me and what you would get in return. So the number one way to support is, of course, Patreon. Patreon only takes, I think it's like a 3% cut. It's something really low. So if you spend $30 subscribing to me on Patreon, you get your name in the credits at the end of every one of the videos. You also get early links to things that I'm working on that aren't done yet. So videos that aren't approved, sponsored segments that I haven't done, designs that I'm working on for future merch and stuff like that. If you want to join at any of the tiers, they start at $2. They go up to $100 if you want a handwritten note every single month. You can provide any amount of money that you want or don't. Again, just watching the video is great. But if you send $30 in there as an example, $27 of that comes to me. Super appreciated. The second way to do so is to become a YouTube member. This isn't something I talk about a lot because it doesn't provide a whole. I mean, maybe it does. Becoming a YouTube member, I only have one tier for it. It's either $2 or $3. I think it's $2. And YouTube, I think, takes a 40% cut of that. So if you spend $2, I get like $1.20 out of it. You can't spend $30 on it, but if you want to join, it's the join button right next to the subscribe button on my channel. You can pay $2 a month, and you get a little badge next to your icon. Next to your name in the comments. So when you comment, you'll have a little badge, lets everybody know that you're a member, you're a cash money boy. And it's just sort of chill. If and when I do live streams on the main channel, you'll also have a badge next to your name there. YouTube actually makes it so you can use an array of emotes. So if you see people use the emotes that I've designed or screen capped from videos in the comments, you do that by becoming a member. Another thing you can do to help support the channel. Donating or subscribing to my Twitch channel. Twitch takes a 50% cut. So if you were to donate, if you were to spend $30 on becoming a subscriber or gifting subs on Twitch, about half of that comes to me. If you were to donate directly via PayPal, obviously PayPal also only takes like a 3% cut, so that's great. If you're over on Twitch and you want to donate some money my way, that's the culture on Twitch. You get a big notification, everybody in chat pogs, and it's a thing you can do. And then last but not least is memeware. If you go to SumitoMedia.com, it's all of this is always linked in the description. I also usually plug it at the end of my videos. You can buy memeware. I am wearing memeware right now. This is the anti-simp simp juice. All of the designs are like actually drawn by a friend of mine, Rae, who is an artist. They're all designed by me. I do my best to keep memeware as I try to make it not cash grabby. I try to make it all meme related, but still sort of subtle enough that you can wear it outside and not, be looked at weird or anything. I like the designs. I think they're dope. Merch is relatively expensive. Spending $30 on merch, I think I only make $6 to $10 depending on what you buy, but it's not just you donating money, right? It's you buying a shirt. So they ship completely internationally. I have them available in every size possible, regardless of where you live. You can buy some memeware if you want to be able to rep the SumitoMedia merch. Feel free. All right, so now the plugs are out of the way. Let's move into some of the most anticipated questions, I suppose, with what's happening with the channel at the moment. So first of all, obviously, what's up with the Spodcast? Sumeto, where's the Spodcast? I get these comments all the time. Every time I ask if people have questions, the number one thing is the Spodcast. The original idea for the Spodcast was just to do a weekly talking segment on my channel that was back when I was doing meme videos. I found it very difficult to do more than one video a week. It felt like I was draining too much of what was happening on the internet. I felt like sometimes I had to make videos on things that weren't that funny or weren't that interesting just to get a second or third video out that week. So I wanted to do something like the Spodcast where I could just chat, do something that wasn't so heavily edited, and make it so I would have something other than a main video to post every week. I started doing it with Alex because Alex is a funny friend of mine. We talked about nostalgia and anime. We interviewed the internet historian. Got a ton of views on the first few episodes of the Spodcast as a result. Moving forward, the Spodcast is tougher now that the meme videos that I do are getting way more views than I ever could have anticipated. Now that the channel's really rolling with that momentum, the Spodcast gets significantly less views, so it's much less rewarding to put out a video that I know is going to do like 20%, 30% as good as some of the other videos that I make. And it's tough to continue doing them because they're a little bit off topic compared to, like if you watch my channel as like a meme news channel, the way that it is to sort of keep up to date with what the internet's clowning on that week. The Spodcast then turns into us talking about our childhood and early internet stuff. A lot of people love it, but because it gets so many fewer views than my main channel videos, I have to look at it like a lot of people don't find it interesting. And then with that said, moving forward with the Spodcast, what I want to do when doing the Spodcast is I want to make it sort of an internet topic-driven talk show. So we would talk about sort of what's happening on the internet. Twitter makes a change. Twitch bans hot tubs. And I kind of wanted to do it live on the main channel, which is how I did the two most recent episodes of the Spodcast was a live stream on the main channel. Alex wasn't in them, because it is tough to get a hold of Alex. Alex has a lot of like real world obligations and stuff. I think he has like a girlfriend and a new husky and stuff. And when we're talking about like internet topics and things like that, it's hard to bring Alex into it because like it isn't like his life. You know what I mean? Like I spend all my time on the internet. I'm always up to date with changes on Twitter, what people are mad about. Chris Pratt is doing this. Amaranth got banned because of that. Pokemon's doing this and that. And it's just not super easy to have those conversations with someone who doesn't spend literally every waking hour on the internet, such as Alex. So it was tough. So as a combination of those things, I haven't done a lot of Spodcast. I haven't done any Spodcast in like the last 6 or 7 months. But if I were to bring it back, it would probably be in the vein of something like that. It would probably be a live stream that I do like every Friday, for instance. So I would upload like a main channel. In a perfect world, I would upload a main channel video or 2 and then stream every Friday, talk with you guys live, talk about, hey, here's what, here's my most recent video. Does anybody have any thoughts on it? Here's something that happened on Twitter. It's not interesting enough for me to make a whole video, but 4 or 5 topics that aren't interesting enough to make a video might make for an interesting hour-long conversation with you guys live, sort of thing. So I did this with the 2 most recent episodes of this podcast. I will probably keep a running tally of things that I find interesting but don't make it into a video, talk about them live every Friday, and then try and get on a schedule like that. If I were to continue to do this podcast, that is probably the form that it would be in. So let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know what you guys think about the 2 most recent episodes. If you found them interesting, if that sounds exciting, I will probably move forward with it in that regard. Similar idea is I haven't streamed a bunch lately. That hasn't been because I've been moving away from Twitch or anything. It's just kind of been because I've been in a funk. Seasonal depression hits me pretty hard for God knows what. I know it's coming. Like, I know winter's going to come and I'm just going to be sad and have no motivation. But it still happens every year, and I still get into this 3-week, 4-week cycle of just not doing anything. It's not super productive. I feel super guilty about it because it's like I worked so hard. You guys supported me for so long to get me to the point where this is not my job, and now I'm just fucking around not uploading. Like, I feel like shit because of that. But I know it's temporary. And the lack of Spodcast, the long time between videos, the lack of streams, I promise it is just me not focusing down and doing what I need to do. I'm not quitting. I'm not disappearing. I'm not cutting off any of these things that I have done in the past. I'm just slowly trying to get to a point where I'm sleeping correctly, waking up on time, putting in the effort to make sure these things are prepared and easy to do, and then executing them in a way that they come out to you every week. And I'm struggling to do that for some reason, but I am working hard to get to a point where I'm not struggling to do that, and you should see more streams, more podcasts, more videos in the foreseeable future. So looking back at what we did in 2021. So 2021 was probably the hardest year of my life. I don't want to make that sound like anything too traumatic happened, but the transition from working a normal job to making YouTube my job was super difficult because I wasn't at like the first 6-7 months of the year making enough money to actually pay for everything that I needed to. So like after rent and everything, I was always just putting a bunch of money on credit cards and just thinking, like eventually I will make enough to pay this off. So let's just deal with it for the time being. In the last, I would say 3 months, maybe 4 months, thanks to the tremendous success of just me uploading more videos. Who would have guessed that would have been the solution? We've gotten to a point where I've broken about even. I still need to pay off the first 6 months of debt that I've accumulated, so I'm not exactly in the green yet. Even though it's been a full 12 months, I haven't successfully made my first dollar. It will do in due time. In 2021, according to my count, I did something to the tune of like 42, maybe 44 videos. 2 of those were Spodcasts, so like 42 videos, which is not one video a week, which is one of the goals that I set, was to do multiple videos a week, and in that regard, I failed. But the goal was to make videos in a way that I would be able to do them for a long time, right? YouTube is this ongoing thing that you have to do for a while. You can't just focus 12 months of work onto one fantastic video, even if that video gets like 30 million views. Like, that's not going to sustain you for an entire year. You have to get into a cycle where you can make videos relatively quickly, make them interesting and informative enough for people like you to watch them every single week and want to continue to watch them every single week. And in that regard, I think I did succeed, because I have gotten the format down to a point where if I want to make a video on something funny, 2-sentence horrors, John Cena breaking into Seth Rogen's car, none of those videos took more than maybe a day of planning and a day of editing and recording. And that sort of cycle used to take me a full week, and now it only takes a couple days. So now I can sort of look at what I think is going to be the most interesting thing to bring to you guys. And while the videos have been averaging like every 10 days instead of every 7 days, they've averaged much, much better videos, in my opinion. I look back at those videos and I'm quite proud of the way that I act on camera, the editing, the music, the short jokes in between everything. And I think the growing number of views on these videos compared to the ones before them show that you guys have also been enjoying the improvements on them. So considering that in 2021 I had COVID, which literally left me incapacitated for like 3 weeks, like 10 days in the middle of having COVID, I did not get out of bed. I would struggle to get out of bed, go to the bathroom, lay back in the bed. I was in bed for 22 hours a day for like 10 days straight. And then the week before that, I was just like flu-like symptom sick. The week after that, I was flu-like symptom sick. Almost an entire month just completely taken out because of that. I then afterwards, maybe 4 weeks, 6 weeks, got appendicitis. I spent a week just feeling super sick, bad stomach ache, finally ended up going to the hospital after like 6 or 7 days. My appendix had burst. I needed immediate surgery. That also took me out, I think, for 2 or 3 weeks. You guys remember when that happened. And then a tree destroyed my car. There was a big windy storm. A tree fell on my car. I had to deal with insurance. I had to file a police report. I had to go and buy another car with the money that I got from insurance. Just incredible amounts of stress that I dealt with. So I'm going to give myself a pass on the videos that I did not upload. But yeah, 2021 was tough. I have recovered in so many ways, and it just, like, all it does is just point. It makes me motivated at this point. In the moment, I was super upset, super sad. It felt like the universe was against me. All of this happened after I quit my job to pursue YouTube. And I was like, okay, I have a couple $1,000s saved up. I'll work hard to make YouTube happen. And then all these things happened. All my money was gone. All my motivation was gone. It felt like everything was against me. But now it feels like everything's on my side, because like if all that stuff can happen and I'm still pursuing YouTube as like my main goal, this is still my A plan, like what's going to stop me? You know what I mean? So the last sort of thing that I want to touch on before I get to the question and answer segment is just sort of my goals moving forward into 2022. I made this vision board in 2021 when I was recovering from COVID. I still wasn't like in a good enough position to actively make a video, but I wanted to do something because I was like, I'm a YouTuber now. I want to do YouTuber stuff. I'm excited about this. Let's do something. So I made this Photoshop image, this vision board, if you will, of stuff that I wanted to do going forward. And all it really boiled down to was just make more videos. I don't want to do like completely unedited videos. I don't have an editor to sort of offload it to it, but it's just not my style. But I do look at Moist Critical and his style of videos, where he's really just talking about something interesting, and his ability to sort of tie in internet news and his opinion on things, I think is a good thing to aspire to. I still want to have characters and TikToks and short memes and music and stuff. I want to have a little bit higher production than what he has, but I do look to him in the way that he makes his videos in this very personal, quick-witted way, and I think absorbing more of that energy would help to produce videos faster than I have been making them. And that's sort of something that I want to bounce off of you guys. Like, if the videos became a little bit less produced, fancy, bouncy, and a little bit more of just me talking the way that I am, but they came out more often, does that seem like something it doesn't matter. Basically, my point is it doesn't matter. I don't have any real goals for this year going forward. I'm not aiming for a certain amount of subs. I'm not aiming for a certain amount of videos or a certain amount of views on anything. I just want to continue to succeed doing things the way that I enjoy doing them. I've seen numerous examples of people getting very successful on YouTube, but they get very successful doing like one thing and one thing only. They might do a whole bunch of different video game reviews, but then they get super popular because they did a tips and tricks video on Resident Evil Village. And now they have to make like 15 videos just about Resident Evil Village because that's the thing that tripled their views, 10x their views. And it's like, you know, when they go back to making videos about indie games or about Noita or whatever that, you know, they really find passionate, their numbers dwindle down. They don't get the same support that they used to. It bums them out a ton. I don't want to experience that. I know YouTube is all about ups and downs, but I would prefer to have like a slow, gradual incline of, you know, the community gets bigger, the views get a little bit bigger, we slowly inch up and up. I would prefer that and be able to stay stable rather than blowing up overnight because everybody finds one particular video I made and then not be able to recreate that success because what I did was just take a random shot in the dark and I don't know how to continue doing that. I want to continue making videos in a way that I know I can do for a long, long time. And then I think it's twofold a good thing because then anybody who finds my videos, it's not going to be one video that you love and then I never make anything like that again. If you enjoy any of the recent videos I've made, there's 20, 30 more videos that are going to be in the same vein of comedy and energy. And hopefully we can all just jump on the same train and head straight for a fucking wall. The last thing I want to say is sort of my mantra on comedy. I take a lot of my perspective on how to do comedy from Futurama. When Futurama makes fun of something because they have such smart, well-equipped writers on their team for that show. I love Futurama, by the way. Favorite animated show of all time. They do it in a way that comes from like true understanding and knowledge. When they make fun of, you know, women or Scientology or aliens or science fiction, they understand it really well. And that's where really good, well-written comedy comes from. And that's what I aim for. So if you're somebody who's watched one of my videos and you find something offensive, you think I went a little too far with a joke, you're under the impression that I hate a certain group of people, not what I'm aiming for. Probably never going to be what I'm aiming for. There's not going to be a situation where my agenda on this channel or something that I do is to make you hate a certain group of people. It's always just going to be, whether or not it seems like it, me trying to make you appreciate something by satirizing it, by amping up the character that I play, by making something more misogynistic, more racist, more phobic, this and that, to point out the absurdities in it to make you laugh, and hopefully we can all sort of come together in a way that we can appreciate everyone who lives on this earth in a way that we can all laugh at each other. So, you know, this should be obvious. I feel like this should be obvious to any rational thinking SumitoMedia Chad. But if you're one of the cancel culture virgins watching one of my videos and you think, oh, Sumeto just hates a certain group of people, you couldn't be further from the truth. My comedy is not perfect, but I aim for it to be one day. And obviously that only comes with making mistakes, which I have done and which I will continue to do. I hope you grow with me. All right, question and answer time. Some of these might be repetitive to what I've talked about in the beginning of the video. I don't know because I haven't read all the questions yet. I'm going to start with the questions from Patreon because they're the Patreon boys, obviously. Swaggy T has a bunch. Any New Year's resolutions for yourself? Lose weight's kind of the only thing. A lot of people have said Sumeto's lost weight in videos. Post-surgery, I think I'm probably down 15 pounds from what I was before I had appendicitis. But aside from that, nothing serious. Focus on YouTube, get my schedule back together. That's basically it. What's the best book you've ever read? I haven't read any books. I'm not really a big book reader. I haven't even read most of the mangas that I've got on my little manga shelf there, so I got to work on that. Tips for people trying to start their own YouTube channel: do something that you like and you can do for a long time. I think that's the only tip that I'd be able to give to anybody, no matter what. Is pretty much regardless of what you do, YouTube is going to take a long, long time. Almost 3 full years from me. And that's even with like working with the Internet Historian several times. Like, it wasn't until our 2nd, 3rd, maybe 4th in the field that this became my job. So you need to be able to make videos on something for a long, long time. So your YouTube channel better be a good representation of something that you're really passionate about, or it's just going to be hard to stick to it for as long as you need to. Favorite superhero, supervillain? Favorite supervillain, obviously the Joker. I don't even know if you're allowed to have a different answer on the internet. Favorite superhero, Iron Man. Love that he's rich, he's smart, he learns things fast. I guess Batman's also really cool, but I really only like Christopher Nolan's Batman. I love every incarnation of Iron Man. Favorite TV show or movie? Favorite movie is probably Scott Pilgrim vs. the World or Evangelion if we're going animated. I don't know if I have a favorite TV show. I guess the first 80% of Game of Thrones I thought was fantastic. Worst TV show you've ever seen? Oof. I don't know if I have a worst TV show. I don't think I've watched anything all the way through and just absolutely hated it. I've dropped it if I stop liking it. Favorite Ghibli movie? I like Princess Mononoke for like the story. But I do like Spirited Away for like the aesthetic. I think the music and the vibes in that video are really what make me want to make my own anime one day, is Studio Ghibli stuff in general. Those are the only 2 Studio Ghibli movies I've watched, though. Favorite anime? Evangelion. I do also, you can check my anime list. That's a thing that I update regularly. I'm currently watching through all of Yu-Gi-Oh! For no reason in particular, just to keep myself busy. Obviously, I love Evangelion. I do really love The Daily Lives of High School Boys. That cringe, awkward comedy is my shit. Prison School in the same vein. Love it so much. And Death Note. Fantastic. Top 5, probably. Worst type of YouTube channel, in your opinion? Just unauthentic stuff. Like anybody who's making YouTube videos just because they know it's going to get a lot of views. Commentary channels, people who only do drama. Like if you're really passionate about drama, cool, I'll give you a pass. But I don't think most of the people making videos just talking about a tweet that somebody had in 2002 or so-and-so's makeup wasn't that good, so-and-so's video was transphobic. Like, I feel like people like that are only making those videos because they get a lot of views and it makes them look good, but I don't actually think even they themselves care at all about those topics. I think they just know it's easy clicks. Favorite video game? I did a video on this. You should watch. What makes a gamer, I think is what it's titled. I have a list of my favorite video games. It's difficult to tell apart what I really loved playing and what I just look back on fondly, but Persona 4 Golden, the Yakuza series, Catherine, like all the stuff by Atlus I think are fantastic. And then Yoshi's Island, obviously. Sly 3, loved it. Favorite musician or band? I'm really into like 2000s pop rock. So like Yellowcard, Paramore, Linkin Park, all those bands really have a lot of nostalgia for me, and I enjoy listening to that a tremendous amount. I don't know if I have any modern musicians or bands that I like a ton. Favorite genre of music? Probably rap. I like hip-hop. I like lyricism. Do you watch sports? I watch esports. I watch MMA. I'm a big UFC fan as of now. I started watching this year. But mostly I watch competitive League of Legends and competitive Counter-Strike on Twitch. Favorite video game studio? Probably Atlus. I don't think I'm allowed to have another answer. It's probably Atlus. So Captain CF Angie says, what are the names of your cats and how do you tell them apart? I did adopt 2 cats. Here they are. They were sleeping just before this, so they're very mad at me right now. It's very easy to tell them apart. This one, as you can see, is JoJo. She's named after JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I also call her Mojo JoJo because I'm funny. And you can tell this one easily. Look at her face. You can tell this one easily because her nose is brown. And then this one is Moxie, a.k.a. Boxy, a.k.a. Mad Moxie. And if you look at her face, you can tell this one apart because she's a fucking asshole. Hollowist on Twitter says, what made you want to do YouTube in the first place? Who in your family do you look up to? What interest do you have that you don't make very public? I didn't necessarily know I was going to do YouTube when I was younger. I mean, even now, I always really aspired to be like a late night talk show host. I thought it was so cool that they could make jokes every night, interview people, and just be like a goofy, funny guy. And they had like all the money in the world for their show. Like if they wanted to, you know, like if you watch late night talk show TVs, they'll have like celebrities come on and whatever game they want to play, whatever goofy like Ellen DeGeneres style game that they wanted to do, they could make props, they could make, they had a band, they could make music. Like it felt like they could do anything because it was their show and it was always so entertaining. And I always wanted to do something like that. I didn't know what the road would be to get on TV. But then when I sort of saw YouTube was available and I already sort of knew editing and I liked video production, it led into this really natural sort of transition where it's like now I have my own show. It's not as high production as TV is, but like it gives me the freedom to do whatever I want to. And I find a tremendous amount of satisfaction in that. I don't look up to anybody in my family. Not a super big fan of my extended family being just owning property and being lawyers and doctors. Like, it's cool that they have a lot of money, but they're just boring to me. So I don't really look up to anybody in my family other than my parents for dealing with me as long as they had to. And then interests that I don't make very public. I mean, I'm pretty open about the stuff that I'm into, at least as far as Twitter's concerned. When I watch an anime, I watch a TV show, whatever it is that's on my mind, it just sort of finds itself manifesting into a tweet or even a video, 9 times out of 10. So I don't know if there's anything that I'm really into that I don't make public outside of like my porn searches, but that's not really what we're asking here. Azuman on Twitter asks, what's below the camera, Sumeto? I've done this a few times on my Twitch stream, but I don't think I've ever done it on YouTube. But here's basically the setup. So hey, what's going on? This is a Logitech webcam. There's a green screen behind me that sort of fills up the entirety of the room, and then just me in a chair. I have 3 monitors. I keep Twitter here, or I keep whatever YouTube video I'm watching, the game that I'm playing, and then this vertical monitor for Discord, my script, and sort of OBS for when I'm streaming. You can see what the setup kind of looks like when I'm recording. I have these 2 big softbox lights off to the side. That's what lights up my green screen nice and evenly. That top ring light is really just for my face and hair. I have to be lit up differently than the background or everything just looks super flat. My camera is on a thing clamped to my desk, and I actually have a motorized desk now, which is pretty solid. So I've got there's a little panel here that I can push that makes it so that all of this just moves up, and that's how I do the standing shots. When I'm sitting, it also keeps the camera in the same place, so I can do these sitting shots without too much effort either. My PC is, I don't even know if you can see it. It's way off to the side over there, just sitting on the ground. It's the same PC I've had for like the last 3 years. It works. I'm not in a position to upgrade it, so I'm just thankful that nothing is broken down at that point. I have a Stream Deck, anime shelf. I don't think there's too much else to show, but yeah, that's what the setup looks like in 2021. Blank on Twitter asks, what was your best Twitch moment? I would say in general, I'm just so happy to be able to do Twitch, to be able to live stream video games. As I've gotten older, I've discovered so many old anime, movie, video games that I didn't play as a kid that I enjoy thoroughly as an adult. And I have so much more of an appreciation for being able to sit down and play a game for 20, 40, 60, 80 hours. Because if I did any other job, like I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to experience this medium that I love so much. So I just have such an appreciation for the people who drop into Twitch, for the people who donate money because they want to be able to see me continue to play these games. Because like I truthfully don't see a world where I work an engineering job, can come home and can spend this much time playing video games. So I'm incredibly thankful for that. That's my favorite part of being a Twitch streamer. But as for my best Twitch moment, I mean, it's got to be this one. Is this the stage where you can lose on turn 1? Yeah, it is. Digibread asks, what's your motivation to get back online every day? And I'll just sort of take this as motivation in general because a few people have asked this. I really want to have a good answer to this question because I feel like in the grand scheme of things, my job isn't all that hard. And this answer is probably going to reach a lot of people who have a much more difficult day-to-day than I do, and how to try and stay focused and stay motivated in that regard. But it really just sort of comes down to discipline. Like when I go to sleep on time and I wake up on time, I eat properly, I go for walks and stuff, I find it much easier to get my work done. Just sitting at my computer aimlessly, knowing that I should be doing work and instead just playing ARAMs and watching anime is when I, fall deeper into more depressive episodes that just sort of hold me in a position where I don't feel like I can do anything. So just do something. Like, if you have a big test tomorrow or you have a big project that you're working on or you're dreading to go into work because it's going to be a tough day, you got to do little shit like brush your teeth, make your bed, eat slightly healthier. Like those little victories are what will really lead you to be able to do the bigger things. But when you set up an entire day where you're not doing anything correctly and then you have like this big monster to try and defeat, you don't give yourself the little bits of confidence that you need to remind yourself that you can handle anything that life throws at you. There's this tweet at some point that was like, life is all about faults or things. Life is all about taking damage that you would never think that you would recover from. And then at some point becoming this massive, moving, unstoppable force that is just immune to everything because you've overcome everything that's tried to kill you. And I like that thought process that like, anything that's going to happen from this point on, it's not going to be anything that unexpected. There have been way more difficult things that have tried to stop me in my tracks, and they've failed so far. So just, stay disciplined, stay strong. Everybody's struggling to stay motivated. You're not the only one. It's going to get better. A lot of people are asking me my favorite meme or my favorite meme of 2021, and it's tough to pick a favorite because I just love meme culture in general. The fact that it's still such a strong force brings me so much joy. To know that all I ever want to do in a day is just shitpost and make very specific niche fucking soy jacks to depict my passion for a medium, and the fact that people continue to do that online brings me a lot of joy. I love the some bitches meme, the blank blank blank, how about you blank some bitches. I think that's great. I love shrimp fried rice. I just feel like it's the perfect combination of smart and stupid. Those are some ones that come to mind. Canned Sir on Discord asks, what people inspired you to get into content creation? I would say early YouTube was so incredibly impressive to me. People who made parody songs, like people who would make like the Asian version of TI's Whatever You Like or Drop It Like It's Hot or whatever, I thought were so incredibly creative. Like the fact that somebody could make a video, rewrite a song, I thought was the coolest thing in the world for a while. But obviously I would say like Ray William Johnson, as early as YouTube gets, obviously anybody who has any sort of show like this where they talk about something on the internet has to pay homage to him. Love PewDiePie's original meme review video. I mean, even the videos where he's just looking at internet stuff, I just thought, was really inspiring because like it's not like Mr. Beast millions and millions of dollars. Like it's difficult to be inspired by that. You can think it's cool, but it doesn't feel like I could do anything like that. But seeing that level of success come from somebody who's just sitting in a room enjoying the same stuff on the internet that I do, whether it be video games or memes or anime, are fantastic. At the moment, the most inspiring content creators to me, I love travel vloggers. I watch all the Trash Taste Boys and Abroad in Japan. I just think they make such good personality-driven content that gives you a window into another world, whether it be literally Japan or anime and video games in one way or another. I think anybody who's talking about something that they're really passionate about at this point in time, like whether it's high production, low production, lots of subscribers, no subscribers, when people really get into a topic that I'm interested in, it makes me feel like, oh, I'm not the only person who's interested in it. And it gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling inside. I do also want to give a shout out to people like LazerPig and Kubi Please in my Discord community and just in my community in general. These are people who have started making YouTube videos and have started making content online. They verbally look up to me and they look at what I'm doing, and I feel like I'm just doing what I think is the right move based on what I feel, but they're like following in my footsteps to try and make their own careers online. So like if I wasn't inspired from people who are doing this longer than I have, I've definitely been inspired by people who are trying to make this a success because they see my success. So it's like I want to do this correctly and I want to succeed in this so that they continue to have, someone to look at in one way or another. So big shout out to anybody who's reached out to me who's a small YouTuber and they're like, yo, I like your stuff. It made me want to do my stuff. I value that so incredibly so. Not Fred's Mom asks, if there was one video this year that you seriously enjoyed making, what was it? And it's a cop-out answer, and it isn't that it's every video that I've made. It is tough to just pick one because they don't all take the same amount of time and research and editing to make, but they do all take the same amount of like creative drive. Like I feel passionately that somebody is going to laugh and be informed and humored by the topics that I choose to pick. But it's not so much the videos that I made this year that I think were really enjoyable to make. It's the fact that I'm at a point now that I know that so long as I think it's funny, it's going to do well. And I think that's a very magical place to be on YouTube, because I've said this earlier in this video, but I think there's a lot of people who feel like they have to make videos because they have to, because they know that the only way they're going to make enough views to make enough money is to make a certain type of video. And for me, it really is just the style of video I want to make. I want to get on camera. I want to talk about something that I think is funny. I want to edit it in a way that makes me feel like I've got magic powers and I can throw up pictures and I can make TikToks appear at whim. I really view my channel as like a like you have a friend and you want to show them a meme, but you know they're not going to understand it, so you have to show them a bunch of memes that's like, hey, here's why this last one is funny, and they like all of them. They're like, oh, this is so funny, I never knew about any of this. And you get that feeling that's like, oh, I just introduced this little bit of comedy in this guy's life, and now he's going to have a greater appreciation for memes going forward because now he understands them. That feeling that I get when I show my friends meme is what I try to convey through these videos, and so far it's felt fantastic, so I'm super happy about that. I will say I am tremendously proud that I've gotten a respectable amount of views on the videos like what makes a gamer and like my anime review video, because those are videos that are not meme, like they're not like valuable, you know what I mean? Like the meme videos that I make have value. If you like memes, you'll see me make jokes about them, and you know you'll get a little bit more meme and comedy out of images that you've already seen. But if you don't know anything about memes, you're still learning a little bit about internet culture and what have you through me just, you know, rambling on and on about them. But videos where I'm just talking about my favorite video games, or I'm just talking about the animes that I've watched, can be dangerous, right? Because like there is a world where those videos get like no views. And it's like, you know, after posting a video like that, I imagine one would feel like, oh, you know, I have all these subscribers, but they just want to see me do this one thing. They don't actually care about my thoughts and opinions, my personality, and what have you. And the fact that those videos still have tens of thousands of views, even though it's just me rambling about something that I like, I feel like really showcases the fact that we've, you know, sort of harbored a community of like-minded individuals that, yeah, we're here for memes, but anime is also a big part of the internet. Games are also a big part of the internet. And the tying thing together on this channel is me and my opinions on them. And so that's obviously fantastic. Jataro Joestar asks, what do you hate most about the YouTube sphere? And I would definitely say it's a little bit of cancel culture. It's a little bit of the volatility. I think that in order for YouTube to be sustainable, like I'm not worried about YouTube disappearing tomorrow or anything, but the changes that they make can be a little bit difficult, and the way that people react to it can be a little bit annoying. So like YouTube Shorts is a thing, for instance. Everybody's talking about making TikToks, making short form videos, and so as a result, like a lot of YouTube creators are making YouTube Shorts, and they're not good. Like they're just boring. They're not interesting content, but they want to make it because they're scared that if they're not making it, they're missing out on an opportunity. And I just wish that more people just sort of calm down and sort of make videos the way that, not exclusively me, but like my mantra on videos, which is just sort of like, do what makes you interesting, do what you're interested in. And if you can build your community on that, then you don't need to worry about simultaneously handling all the other differences that YouTube's going to throw at you. Because you're a YouTuber, you're going to handle it. Like if you sign up for the job, you will learn a lot in this job. You'll be able to roll with the punches. If YouTube tomorrow decides we're not doing any videos that are more than 1 minute long, we'll make 59-second videos. That's fine. If YouTube changes so that everybody has to make 50-minute long videos, then we'll make 50-minute long videos. Like you don't need to worry about these little changes if you're prepared to just make more videos. So I wish more people just reacted to that. And then sort of cancel culture. I think that people who do terrible things, I'm not against people making like hour-long videos, you know, making exposés about it. We should draw attention to the negativity in the world to bring actual criminals to justice, I suppose. But the fact that people will just make a tremendous amount of hullabaloo over basically nothing. Somebody says a word, somebody tweets something insensitive. Like, I feel like that stuff comes from people idolizing creators. And I feel like that's a little bit on the creator's fault for sort of setting themselves up as this, I can do no wrong. I've built my platform by calling out other people. I would never do something this bad, and that's why you should follow me. And that's, I wish we would have a little bit less than that. People who make YouTube videos are just people who make YouTube videos. Like, they're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everybody screamed the N-word in a Halo 2 lobby when they were 14. You know, some people tweeted it, some people didn't. You're not better than someone else just because of it. You shouldn't necessarily lose your career over it if it was something that everybody else has done, but they're just sort of, you know, they didn't have it documented sort of thing. Like, it's not that serious in my opinion. Jacob asks, favorite booze as of now? It's Japanese whiskey. Love Japanese whiskey. Suntory's Hibiki is my favorite so far. Japanese whiskey is relatively expensive, and I don't really drink all that. Like, at this point, I maybe drink like 3-4 times a year. I don't go out that much because A, COVID, and B, I have no friends. So there's that. And Japanese whiskey isn't really like the most inexpensive booze that you can buy, so I haven't tried a whole lot of it. But whiskey in general, love a good Irish whiskey, but Japanese whiskey is like my shit. All right, well, I think that's all the major questions that I've gotten asked, and this video is long enough as it is, so thank you for making it to the end of it. If you did, appreciate all of that. I'm going to hop back on the wagon, get more videos out. I have an idea for the next video. I'm kind of just waiting for a sponsor for it at this point. I've already got a sponsor for it. I need to know what they want me to do. I have an idea for it. I want to do it, but I need to know what I can and cannot say for that. So I'm waiting on a few moving parts. But yeah, basically 2021 is just going to be more of 2022. Sorry, is just going to be more of 2021. Just going to keep doing YouTube shit, keep doing Twitch shit, do my best to get better at being a creator, make better videos for you guys. I appreciate everybody who's hopped on along the ride. I hope more people continue to enjoy my content as it evolves. I should go to sleep at this point. But yeah, thanks for watching. Big shout out to the Patreon boys rolling in the back, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Happy New Year. Spisu.